What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, I'm kind of shocked by something. I'm shocked by the lack of news coverage that this development is getting. And that is the development that started last month when the home of Keefe D, the gang member who has long been suspected of having at least involvement in the crime that led to the passing of Tupac Shakur back in 1996, right? Last month, Vegas police raided, I think it was the home. I know the home was in his wife's name, so I'm assuming it is his home. And they took some items out of the home. I'm assuming evidence. Laptops, pictures. I think it was even some items. It wasn't really disclosed what. But it had to be something of significance. Now comes the news that, and I'll put a link to this article, Yahoo, in the pinned comment in the comment section below, that Keefe D is facing imminent charges in the Tupac crime after bragging about shooting. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is facing imminent charges concerning the crime that took the life of Tupac. The Sun reports Keefe confessed to assisting in the crime that took Tupac's life back in September of 1996. If you may recall, it was the night of the Bruce Seldon-Mike Tyson fight, and Bruce Seldon took an absolute dive in that fight, but that's another story for another day. He admitted to that during an interview with Vlad TV, and law enforcement has built a case ready to present to a LA grand jury. Authorities stated that they're looking at first degree charges. First degree what? Potentially for Keefe D. The grand jury hearing will take place in private, with a jury deciding whether or not the evidence found against Keefe is sound enough to prosecute the man in September of 2023. I'm assuming this quote is from sources close to the case. The team did not enter into this investigation lightly. They knew that the world would be watching if they took any action against Keefe. They do not want to make any missteps. One key aspect was building a strong case and filing evidence detailing how Keefe was one of the four suspects in the car, was pivotal in the actual crime that took Tupac's life. And it's the reason why I'm not using that word. I can't use that word on YouTube. Then the destruction of critical evidence. I could, but my video will probably either be demonetized or it may even be taken down for some stupid reason. That's why I don't say certain terms. When somebody said, "Hey man, it's disrespectful," call it for what it is, homie. Call it for what it is, man. You're speaking tiptoeing around, nigga. Keep it real. But I can't keep it real, nigga. There's only way I can talk about this shit on YouTube. Funny, I can say shit and all that, but I can't say other terms. They have spent months pulling it together and continue to hunt down corroborating evidence and other possible witnesses for the grand jury, a source told the publication. We expect for this matter to become a case imminently. Keefe has gloated so much about this that he has effectively talked himself into huge legal trouble. It talks about the revelation arrives a month after Vegas police raided a home belonging to Paula Clemens, Keefe's wife. NBC News reported that the Clark County Judge Jacqueline M. Booth authorized a warrant to Las Vegas Detective Clifford Mogg to retrieve anything that could tie Davis to the Southside Crips, Compton Street Gang. During the legal search, authorities seized .40 caliber cartridges, computers, photographs from the 90s, and an issue of Vibe magazine featuring the late rap star. Additional items taken from the property were miscellaneous thumb drives, external hard drives, audio recordings featuring Davis and other unnamed figures, and a copy of Davis's book, Compton Street Legend. Now, I'm seeing this monumental development in this case that has been largely cold for some 27 years, right? So we actually might see someone go to trial, right? But there's nobody talking about this on social media. We still see people talking about, did this happen on this day? On the night of Tupac death, I was supposed to meet him at such and such, and all these fucking gangster tales about that particular night. But here we are in a situation where we can actually get closure, potentially. But nobody's talking about that. But to me, the reason why nobody's really talking about this is because a lot of people have platforms where they need this to keep going on and on and on and on and on. They don't want this Tupac thing to come to a close as far as a face being put to the crime that took his life. The other guy, the person who's the likely trigger man, he's long gone. Orlando Anderson was taken out in a shootout back in, 98? So he's the last surviving known link that we know of. So, like I said, there's a lot of people who don't want this thing to come to an end. They talk about this on social media, on their platforms. They want this whole machine to keep going on, this whole who took out Tupac machine to keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. To the point where we have an entire new generation who wasn't even there, didn't even exist when Tupac passed on, arguing about this. They don't want it to end because it's a money machine. So that's part of it to me. A big part of why it's been mute, why there's nobody really talking about this. Now, some of it could be, skepticism. Oh, we've heard this before. Oh, it ain't nothing. But no, this is different. And then another thing. Another point I was making to somebody. The people who are in charge of this investigation, you gotta remember, this is almost 30 years after the fact. Hard for me to even say that out my mouth. It's been that long since Tupac passed away. This is 27 years later. So we got a whole new generation in the police department. Not these old, crusty, dusty, racist ass, rampart scandal ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a whole generation who have gone through the ranks, who are actually grown up being fans of Tupac and Biggie, fans of hip hop, black and white. So it's a different generation that look at Tupac differently. They don't look at him as this, and especially in LA, California, growing up, they don't look at Tupac as this threat to society, this gangster rapper who got what he deserved. A lot of them, most of them, majority of them, willing to believe, look at him as a hip hop icon who was taken out unjustly, and they want justice for what happened to Tupac. This ain't the same people in the 90s. This ain't the same LAPD from the riot years of Rodney King. Now, look, I'm not saying that it still is not corruption. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying there's still not corruption in the LAPD. But what I'm saying is, this isn't the same generation from 1995 in the LAPD department. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, this is just my opinion. Tell me what you guys think.